Hello, today we are looking at the literature text packet. We are focusing on essential question number 4, what is literary text really about? As well as essential question number 5, how does interaction with text provoke thinking and response? As we participate in a close reading today of Allied with Green, which we read last week and close read for the first day yesterday, keep in mind what we do as we close read. We look at a specific section of the text. First reading, we look for what the text says. We read it a second time to look for how the text says it, and we read it a third time and think about why the text matters. For the first phase of reading, for what the text says, I want you to read the text excerpt to create a summary of the text. As we do that, we are focusing on learning target number 5, to create an objective summary of the text. As you create your objective summary, please make sure that that summary emphasizes the conflict within the section of the piece, because in literary text, we always emphasize and highlight the conflict as we are creating a summary of the text. Also, keep in mind, objective means we keep our viewpoints, our opinions, and our thoughts out of the summary and only focus on what is in fact happening within the excerpt. As we go on to phase 2 of the reading, when we read for how the text says it, the how I want you to focus on is the point of view. Reread this text focusing on the point of view used in the piece, and then answer the question, how does the point of view affect the theme that people need to take care of the earth in the excerpt? Cite text evidence from the excerpt to support your response. As we do this phase of reading, we are focusing on multiple targets. First, we'll be focusing on learning target number 1, to cite a piece of text evidence from the passage. Please make sure you use direct quotes as you cite that piece of text evidence. We're also focusing on learning target number 6, to analyze how, in this case, the point of view interacts with the theme. We're also going to be focusing on learning target number 7, as we look at the point of view used by the author. So we are going to look at to analyze how the author develops the point of view of, in this case, the narrator in the text. I want you to think about point of view today as both first, second, and third person, and what viewpoint they use. Remember, first person is whenever the author uses I to tell a story. Second person is whenever the narrator speaks directly to the reader with you. And third person is the narrator's outside of the story and uses he, she, or it. But I also want you to focus and look closely at the perspective of our narrator. Remember, point of view can also be perspective, which is the position or outlook of, in this case, the narrator within the text. So use the narrator's perspective, as well as think about what you notice about the first, second, and third point of view writing form to help answer and cite your evidence for this question, connecting it back to the theme. In the third phase of reading, we're focusing on why the text matters. And in this phase, as you read it one final time, you're going to be focusing on that theme as mentioned in phase 2, that people need to take care of the earth. I want you to reread the text, thinking about how the quote given in this excerpt, in fact, emphasizes that theme. The quote I want you to focus on from this excerpt is the quote, "Tend was a more important verb than most people realized." As you think about how this quote emphasizes the theme in this section of the excerpt, I want you to also cite evidence outside of this quote to help support your response to this question. As you read for this phase of reading, you will again be focusing on learning target number 1, to cite a piece of text evidence. You will also be focusing on learning target number 3, to look at how a theme is determined and developed throughout the course of the text, and finding how that theme is impacted with that quote. Remember, a theme is that hidden message or meaning written in the work that we sort of have to look through the text and use our own background knowledge to figure out what that is. So make sure that as you are doing all 3 phases of reading, that you are focused, reading the text thoroughly each time, and then getting a nice proper answer. We will discuss this at the end of the class with probably about 10 minutes left. So go ahead and get working.